Okay, so this is Lou Martin, and this is my YouTube channel and Spotify podcast, Awakened Spirits Network. And I have the pleasure, and I've already, my heart's melted several times already, chatting with my new friend here, Peter Hansen, who is an angel channel. And Peter, how you doing? Good afternoon, my friend.
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you. And it was truly a really beautiful connection we just had, talking and just talking shop, so to speak, sharing
Hmm.
what's
Hmm.
going on, what we're experiencing, what we are facilitating, and how
Hmm.
we can, uh, become a change and a way shower, and sharing our frequencies and our consciousness and our light and assisting with the healing around the world,
Yes.
trusting the path, trusting the placement, trusting our purpose and our mission at all times, becoming one with the whole, one with, who we truly are, our
Hmm.
soul selves, not
Hmm.
pretending longer. Um, and we also talked about how this is divine timing, that
Hmm.
the way we connected, it's just, it's meant to be. So thank you for having
Yes.
me.
It's my pleasure. As you said, we just had a lovely. You did a session with me before we even got on here, and it was very inspiring and very touching. And yeah, we just connected a couple days ago, and here we are. So, um, can we just have a few sentences of how you describe yourself and your work, so people have a context for what you're about?
Absolutely. I channel Archangel Gabriel, and I am a channeler, um, psychic, angelic channeler. It's not limited to angelic only. I can channel basically anything. It's just about tuning into that frequency, but that's one of my strong suits in my deep
Okay.
connection, past life experience with Archangel Gabriel. That became my go-to voice, or that's the one that's been benefiting or assisting the most, as I've been expanding myself, and but also sharing those gifts, allowing me to assist others with connecting with their multidimensional selves,
Hmm.
soul self, either
Hmm.
through mentorships or through individual sessions, and really just about being me, myself, 100% of the time, fully
Hmm.
showing up. So it's not like one relationship you show up a certain way. I mean, like we all can um, kind of like recognize in our lives, in the human aspects, in the human life, that we
Hmm.
showed up that way, and
Hmm.
we had, for different people, different relationships, different layers of connectiveness, or how much we trusted, allowing ourselves to show up fully.
Hmm. Hmm.
So coming into now 2023, we have the 12/12 tomorrow, we have the winter solstice coming up, we have the new year, Christmas, all of that. It's just we are coming closer and closer. We are already in the golden age. So as a whole, the universe, earth, humanity has been on a journey back to self, back home, embodying all those aspects of ourselves. So basically, all those aspects of ourselves, which individually we go through as well, is that
Hmm.
where we were separated, where we either had time or fear or trauma or pain or whatever it is that separated ourselves from our soul self. So not allowing ourselves to love, to show up fully, and fully express from our heart instead of our mind. That's
Hmm.
what's coming up to be healed. And people like ourselves, who do what we do, we, you can say, we're way showers and we're lighthouses and we assisting others, and we've been through it, so we can, without being connected to the outcome, we can reconnect uh, those aspects and assist others to make that transition themselves. And that's
Beautiful.
really key, you know what I mean, where we unbiasedly we can become a part of the whole, and be the bridge, allowing that vibration to come through. And me channeling Archangel Gabriel, I do a lot of workshops with Lauren Gailey on the New Earth One network,
Okay.
in quantum conversations and many other mediums I show up in. It's
Hmm.
about reaching, it's about sharing, it's about allowing the purity of our hearts to be communicated through
Hmm.
our words, through
Hmm.
everything we do,
Hmm.
sharing up, and knowing that there's the divine placement and purpose for each encounter. That makes sense?
Yes, absolutely. Beautiful.
I know that.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, no, after you. Carry on.
Well, I was just gonna, yeah, I know you asked about who am I, I'm originally from Denmark, born and raised, lived there for 25 years. Then I moved to the United States and been here since. I reside in Santa Monica, California, and also in Austin. I go back and forth. So live both places, work both places, and internationally too, many international clients. So that transitioning with everything happened in the world, allowed for even a bigger net to be kind of thrown, you know what I mean? Allowing technology as well. So like we're using Zoom here today, we're talking like, in person, it's beautiful. So there's no limitations to, and that also facilitates us as energetic healers to connect with many more, not just, through voice and picture, but through the quantum field, through our vibration and frequency, and promote and assist with healing to take place. Because in the quantum field, in the higher realms, there is no separation. So there is, you know what I mean? We can connect anywhere we at. Is the quantum entanglement. Coming into the oneness, coming into the I am presence, coming into the unified field of consciousness, which none of us in the human matrix style of living were taught. Any of, So that was all about separation and one goal to keep us separated. So part of the healing is also recognizing that we were part of creating that.
Yes.
And taking responsibility of that as well.
Yes.
And that's those layers upon layers. We're just healing and we are peeling off along the way that allows ourselves to show up more authentically.
Yeah. My friend, you're singing my song. It's a joy, truly. Can you give us a little bit about your own awakening process, childhood and growing up? Were you always conscious of spirit and the angels and the archangels, etc., or did something get your attention? What's your story?
Young, up to 5 years old, I think, or I'm not sure why the window closed. There were some traumatic experiences in my life early on that kind of closes those windows. But yes, I did have I was very connected, saw and I always felt that angelic presence, and I knew somebody had my back. My archangels was always with me, always protecting me. And there was many instances where things could have gone bad or wrong, where boom, it just came out of nowhere.
Beautiful.
Protected me and made sure that I was okay, and either redirected me or just got me into safety. Later in my young adult life, when I was lived in Denmark, I was in a car accident, and I went into coma. 10 days. And that was a huge life altering. There was NED experience where I went out of body. I saw the silver lining, and that allowed me 10 days to travel and reconnect with my soul self and get me, with my mission as well. Getting new instructions, getting, that life force energy coming back in. And I was, I don't want to say misdirected, but I needed a shake-up at that time, and I got it. If that way, and that got me so back on track. Then I, of course, came back into my human body in the hospital and slowly woke up into the matrix, so to speak. And there was a little culture shock with that, because I spent 10 days in the etheric and the higher realms back with source in our original state of being, where anything is possible. That was a little shocking coming back in. At first I came in like, super happy and like, oh, I can run that 16K weekend and all this stuff, but they're like, no, you can't do that. You need healing. And my programming before that happened, also kicked in, and I, stopped believing what I was told. So I had to go through that death and rebirth right there. Not that many years after that, I moved to the United States, and then there was another death and rebirth. Starting all over. And I feel guided to go to the West Coast. And it was also Gabriel that guided me in that direction.
Okay.
And then I did stay undercover for a long time, where I went into
Right.
the movie business and was a sound
Oh,
engineer. I did
oh,
catering for a little while, all
okay.
of that. And that gave me an inner, like, from the whole matrix system of Hollywood, let's say,
Yeah.
I got the insight, like undercover almost. That was
Yeah.
really gratifying and really helpful in seeing the bigger picture and seeing the void, seeing, the wrongs, if you want, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And then, and also later in that transitioning, then bringing more and more light into that. I mean, of course, throughout that I did, but then the last couple of years I spent there part-time, I consciously, because I didn't want to be in that anymore, it was just draining my soul. But then I got a channeling tell me, like, no, you are always going to be exactly where you're at,
Hmm.
where you're supposed to be at,
Yeah.
as a light bringer.
Mhm.
So when I shifted my perspective from being a victim or being, a human or being individual
Yeah.
into be a channel of light, then I was bringing light into a construct that needed it. So
Right.
allowing to be part of that healing and sparking, change and healing to occur in others. And
Okay.
then it was easy because then I was, you know what I mean? I was not
Yeah.
trying to
Carry on.
pretend, I was not trying to, be somebody else.
Right.
I was,
Yes. You
I
can
was
be yourself
becoming me.
at that,
I could be
basically.
myself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Brilliant. That's so helpful. Thank you. I mean, because of course I mean, it's the exception, not the rule, for people to be consciously aware of their connection to spirit, in our world. And so it helps, ground everyone's understanding, that this is available to everyone, but you may have to nearly die and come back, or you might have to wake up a few times, or there might be some challenges you have to overcome. I'm very interested in your first connection or your reconnection with Gabriel. When did that begin for you in this life?
I just, Gabriel,
Okay.
because it's like I don't see a start point necessarily. I mean, it just
Yeah.
became more aware of it.
Okay.
Um,
It was
but let me
always he
ask
was always there. Yeah.
you:
Sure.
do I have your permission to energy melt and connect with you?
Please.
Okay, I'm gonna bring in the Legion of Angels. I'm asking them to remove any wandering spirits and anything that's not of the light from your energy field, from this session, from your home, city, state, country, this planet, all timelines, all parallel realities, and all dimensions. Just clearing the space and then slowly energy melting with you and Archangel Gabriel, um, allowing the answer to come through here. So you're
Thank you.
asking me when did it connect? I've always been connected.
Okay.
And so have you, and so are you, and
Okay.
so is everyone else. It's important to,
Uh,
I know you didn't answer or ask for more
no,
than
no.
that, but I'm going to give you
Go
a little
on.
extra here.
Yeah.
Point being is that, we first be a part of the whole, but then we become into the oneness, the unified field of consciousness, the I am presence, where all aspects of ourself is being fully embodied within our being. At first, that's a gradual process
Yes.
where we vibrationally um, clear enough by any trauma or any separation within us,
Mhm.
allowing more and more light to come in, more and more higher strands of DNA to be activated within us, which allows us to vibrate at a higher frequency, a higher consciousness, where we are more connected. So we're
Yeah.
more connected and then become closer and closer to our original blueprint soul self. So that's the key. The key here is that, um, like you mentioned earlier too, is that that's something we all will and can do.
Mhm.
So it's part, that being said too, that we do have different soul purposes, different roles to play in this transitioning, in this mass awakening. And not everybody's going to choose to go through what we're going through, that
Right.
full embodiment. Some
Okay.
choose to leave, then go back in the old route or taking something with them, but they're still serving that divine purpose that they set out to do, what they signed up for. So that was a conscious choice. So that also allows, there's no resistance or judgment within any of that. You know what I mean? There's no right and wrong.
Mhm. Beautiful.
And the ones, we all prepared for this. So key being is that allowing ourselves to become one with the whole, where we learn to take the conscious step, but also the conscious breath, which connects us with that consciousness, which allows the vibration, allow us to connect with all the many more opportunities and possibilities, infinite possibilities that's available in that unified field, in that cosmic field around us, where in the human experience, then it's the linear, it's the logical mind that runs the show and limit us to, okay, just that one track experience, what's in that storyline. So by stepping out of that, taking the conscious breath, becoming aware, starting awaken and starting ascending, we become part of the whole again, part of the shift, the transitioning, the co-creation of the new world, which is in our original blueprint.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's great. I feel the energy so strongly here in my body right now as you're channeling. And I mean, you're welcome to carry on there with Gabriel, or I'd love to hear your thoughts or Gabriel's thoughts about 12/12, the solstice, and 2023. But I feel the energy very strongly here right now. It's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Is there anything particular you want to, like a personal thing you want to ask about, or do you feel like that's for a different day?
No, that's fine. That's fine. I've been struggling with my financial flow and with my health, both of those things off and on over the last year or so. So I'd welcome any feedback that you or Gabriel want to offer to me about how to be more in alignment with my higher purpose.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that. And that was a big share from you too, recognizing that and allowing yourself to receive the answer is stepping out of that old path, right? So let me just tune into what Gabriel have to say here about that transitioning, because this is really what's happening with you too.
Yeah.
You're going through it, transitioning. So you are discontinuing old programs, and that old programs created loops. They created or recreated the same experience again and again and again. And one of those were lack, or believing that things could only manifest in a certain structure, in a certain linear way, that for this to happen, this, and this would happen, right? Don't have to recreate or reinvent the wheel here, but point being is that you are going through that now. You reach that milestone where you consciously making a conscious choice that you want to, or you, in a sense, you don't want to recreate any of all that. You want to have a more authentic expression.
Yes.
And surrender to receiving whatever that means. And as that's happening, then layers upon layers of that old programming start to peel off. So it's going to be fighting you at the first, with the illnesses you've been feeling. It's part of that old pain in the body that's being healed and cleared. And it's making more noise because it can feel that your vibration is shifting. So it's going into panic mode. So it's trying to scare you, it's trying to pull you back in, trying to make you surrender to it again, to that limited belief system, and giving you power away. But your soul self, your higher self is guiding you from a higher realm and not allowing that to happen. So a part of the difficulties you're seeing right now, and maybe the extent of it and the duration of it, is as the human self is fighting back, it creates more and more physical experiences, or 4x4s if you want. Any time where we either give in, or there could be unworthiness coming up, or not fully believing we could do something, then we also create a vibrational experience that's in alignment with that will, as in the bigger picture, will assist you in breaking that loop. But as you're going through it, it's painful because it's an old loop that's just replaying itself. So it's assisting you in breaking that cycle. So you've been going through this last year, and even before that, but like it's been like the stronger part of it is that you are now seeing the gist of it. You're seeing what the programming, what distortions this creates in your field. And then from there on, you need to see that to make a conscious choice not to do it any longer. So then it's a shift from you being maybe 25% soul, 75% human, into going the other direction, into 50-50, and then above that. And you are beyond that 50% point. So you're now in charge, but there's still some old routines of programming in you that's can pull you right back in. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes. True.
so that's what you've been dealing with, and the lack is one of them too. Is that believing that any kind of belief is like that in the right and wrong, or believing we don't have enough, or believing we have to either sacrifice, or been programmed to believe that it's not easy, that being human or being, is a struggle. By believing that, we're creating more of it. So that's about taking your essence out of that, you fully becoming your higher self again, where you're not holding back, you're not navigating how much you show up based on money, based on anything on the external. You're shifting that into, by you showing up 100%, then you're doing your best. You're doing more than, you're doing everything you can, by you're not holding back any longer. And then the universe will always take care of you. But it's that old programming that held back. So if there's any holding back still in your field, where you feel that, oh, well, maybe next year or maybe later, it creates more suffering in a sense,
Sure.
So the advice, of course, for you moving forward is allow that death and rebirth. You've already been going through it, and there will be many of them throughout our lifetimes. Each time we're clearing a deep cycle or deep layers of programming or dense energies within our field, and activate higher strengths of DNA, and embodying more light in the process. Each time you level up and become a higher and higher percentage of the pureness of your heart, of your soul, which is source energy. It's God, it's the angelic, it's all of that. It's like you are a bridge, you are one and the same, you're not separate from it. That's the misconception that's been programmed in all of us, is that it's separate from us. So if you can just get over there, you know what I mean, then you'll be happy. And that means that you can't be happy here, because you believe it's out there, right? So by fully transcending those old belief system and shifting them, reprogramming yourself, observing yourself, and monitoring yourself on a moment-to-moment basis in the 0 point energy, so not reacting but responding by taking a conscious breath. That will be your the holy grail for you, so to speak, moving forward. Is that you're not going to have all the answers, because the answers you were searching for was in the mind, and it was limited to that, right?
Sure.
So by you becoming the pure consciousness of the collective consciousness, then you have access to all of these floating pieces of information, and you just draw the one that is in vibrational match to you. And that's the answer you're looking for. So you're not looking through the physicals, you know what I mean?
So thank you. So
letting go of your humanness.
So trusting, being grateful, being in alignment, giving, staying inspired, doing what I love, loving what I do, all of that, and catching myself or observing myself, or, forgiving, healing, releasing these old programs when it feels like they're coming up, or I'm getting, letting myself get pulled into them, etc. Just being very aware in the moment, breathing through it.
Being patient with yourself is key as well.
That's good. That's very good. Thank you. Yeah, lovely. Very helpful.
And everything you do when you work on you and you integrate high aspects of you, that allows you to hold a vibration of that same healing frequency, which will be shared through everything you do, you know what I mean? And it will assist others to activate that within them. And that's why people are being drawn to you, because they can feel that either you know the answer, or that vibration, or that longing, or that pull they feel within, you have the answer to that, you know what I mean? Or that activated DNA within you will activate that DNA that was dormant within them.
Beautiful.
So it's the quantum field. Is that it's going to draw like-minded frequencies into your field.
Brilliant. You
And
know,
money,
that's,
one of them, you know,
sorry, say again, Peter, sorry.
I said money and financial stability is one of those as well. Because
Yeah.
then when you don't doubt it any longer
Mhm.
and you just keep doing and keep showing up, then you will see a pattern and you start trusting it and not allowing the logical mind to talk you out of it. Because that's what happens at first.
Okay.
The doubt create a story and create a reality where there's lack. Because
Yeah.
that's what it tries to do. But that's not your higher self talking.
Right.
That's your human self that lives in fear and lack.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
based on separation, right? So by
Right.
you identifying in that moment that you
Right.
feel maybe something old is coming up, that you're like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. Tuning into who's saying that and
Sure.
says who. Is
Yeah.
that the human self saying that, or is that the higher self? And you will
Right.
recognize really fast that that's the human self that's trying to hold you back.
Okay.
So by not fighting it, but recognizing it, and then it's like, oh, that's not who I am anymore, allows you to connect with that bigger field where you can
Okay.
trust.
Okay.
But it takes patience.
Okay. Paying
A lot
attention
of
to
patience.
detail, is yeah.
Yes, see what's going on, see the conscious choices you're making or unconscious choices, and then catch yourself while you're doing it. You know what I mean? If you're falling asleep again and doing anything from the old human programming, instead of feeling bad about it, just shift that into, oh, I just slept, you know, or I fell asleep, but that's not who I am. Then shift it into the
Yeah.
high aspect again.
Yeah. Well, yes, no, that's, I can't argue with any of that. That's all makes good sense, you see. Yeah.
And I know you're preaching this too, and then, but I hope, sometimes we forget to, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
on ourselves. But that's essential. And if we don't, then you will get like illnesses, or you'll be forced to surrender then.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
We
I hear you.
speak those codes and
Yeah.
and tips.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm taking all that in. I will rewatch this as well. So brilliant. Do we want to talk about 1212 and what your feeling is about that, or Gabriel's feelings about that, that we're on the verge
Sure,
of, and the energy, the next 12 days, etc.?
absolutely. Well, it's tomorrow, the 12/12 portal. It's leading into the solstice as well, and that's that 12-day, of course, window. Um, as we become more and more multidimensional, of course, and this is important to remember and recognize, is that everybody is in a different phase of their ascension. So it's not going to show up exactly the same way for everybody. The more we are in the physical, let's say, we are still looking for certain things to be a certain way, or looking for permission to receive, looking for permission to make a change, all that. There's still a little aspects of that. The higher you vibrate, then you will also recognize that these key moments, they are peaks, absolutely. But in the bigger picture, it's one whole, right? So you won't be as affected by those solstices, the big portals, all of those as much anymore, because it's shifted, the pole shifted. So actually you're operating from the inside out instead of from the outside in.
Very
So
good.
this, like tomorrow and the solstice and everything, it is assisting with making that shift, because the codes coming through on and those portals and those openings, and the codes coming in assist with that inner activation of the divine blueprint, assist with the divine DNA activation and the reactivation of the soul connection. So embodying more and more higher aspects, and breaking more and more of those old programming down. So like I said, is that everybody's in a different phase. So depending where we are at, is going to play out uniquely and differently for everybody at each moment, and that's important to bear in mind, is that don't compare yourself to anyone else. It's really about the more you can navigate from within, and you actually pay attention to what's going on, and paying attention to how does it affect me. How is my energies? Am I getting a headache during the night? Am I having a sense and symptoms through the day or the night, all of that. At first, you will notice that on these peaks, you will have more of those because the energy is coming in so strongly, and your physical body is gently, slowly recalibrating itself to be able to hold that light, process that light. And it is a conscious transitioning and journey. So by taking ownership of it and being in charge of it, so to speak, shifting the perspective from the victim, from the outside to the inside, into the divine connectiveness with everything that is that you actually planned this, you created this. What's happening out there is because, either you weren't connected enough yet to experience that, but then you needed that to make that connection, or you made the shift, and then you see by you vibrational being in one consciousness that directly mirrors out on the outside. So what we're going through now, you're asking about the 12-12 specifically, is that there's deep healing going on, and that deep healing is related to that connection with the soul, is that taking that power back, shifting out of the waiting into the being a conscious traveler, so to speak, not reacting, not believing any longer that it's supposed to be hard.
Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Great. Great. I mean, really, this is so helpful. One of the healers that I've worked with over the last few weeks, so I've had a patch of skin cancer on my chest for like 30 years. Yeah. And over the summer, it usually is small, but if I'm stressed out or not, my system's not good, it gets large, and it's been the biggest it's been since I've had it. And so I'm doing all that I can do to take care of myself. And I had about 3 weeks in November where I just was closed for repairs energetically and in a lot of pain because I was taking some homeopathy that was making it worse, actually. And it turned out I was taking 3 times the dose that I should have been taking. Instead of 1/3, I was taking 3 times that. So I did that for about 10 days just to make things interesting. Impatience, I don't know what you're talking about. And so finally I got through that dark night of the soul, and I'm, very grateful. But what my friend Jane Fitzgerald said came through her. My dad died when I was 17, and he was actually murdered. And my life really was changed dramatically because of that. And I'm sure that's why I was on the spiritual path, looking for life after death and looking for connection with spirit and the spirit of my father. So Jane was saying she thought that this was still unresolved trauma around my dad's death. And I said that the energy that came up for me was disappointment. And so this is definitely like one of the themes of my life. This is probably one of the most important conversations of my life that I'm privileged to have with you and Gabriel here right now. So I'm just laying all my cards on the table because I see what a wonderful opportunity this is for healing, and I'm welcoming any feedback about any of that.
Absolutely, yes, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
And to follow up from her channeling, you mentioned, it's really about you fully letting go of the pain from the past. It's a timestamp. You know what I mean? And there was a reason for it, and looking from the bigger picture, you did prepare for this lifetime. You did decide to be here for this golden age, embodiment, and integration and activation. And this is not your first lifetime. You've been around many times before. You also chose everybody in your life experience. You ask these souls that you had many other lifetimes with before in the past, the ones you chose or felt was the right fit to be a part of your journey, your dad being one of them, to play that part in your journey that allowed you to go into either darkness or light or both, as a part of your level or your preparation for where we're at right now. But the important part about that is that you're not who you were back then, right? You've never been just, you know what I mean? You're your soul self. You are the unified field. You are your higher self. So letting go of that attachments or that pain or that victim mentality that you did experience and you did choose and you did experience for a purpose, but that's not now. So that's not who you are any longer. So by allowing yourself to detach from that, allowing yourself to release yourself, and it's not because that aspect of you did something wrong. Absolutely not. It actually, it showed a lot of strength doing that, but sending it love and allowing it to go, because for you to fully step into your original blueprint and your new mission, you can't have that with you. You can't be in both places at once.
Okay.
So this is about you allowing yourself to release that aspect, knowing that there's a higher purpose to it. There's a higher meaning within that. And it grew its purpose, so to speak. You know what I mean? There's nothing to fix. You didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
It was a part of that life experience that led you to where you're at now. So for you to fully show up now, you have to let go of that. And that's the challenge you're facing right now.
Okay.
Accept
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yes. Yes, that's very helpful. So what I do is I have done a lot of work with the soul and with forgiving and with taking responsibility for, you know, what I have and haven't done that I'm happy with or ashamed of, you know, on my journey in awakening and service to spirit, all of that. So, you know, it's is there any suggestion about what I'm hearing very clearly the context of being the higher self, being the soul, knowing your oneness, living from the inside out. This is a phrase my guides have been channeling through me quite a lot, you know, right now. And you know, you're the gift of chatting with you, Peter, right now in my life is that you're so clearly established in such a high vibration. You know, I feel that. And then when you brought Gabriel through before, I absolutely felt all that energy, you know, wrapping around me. So if there's any suggestions or you know, anything else I can do to work with Gabriel or other angels or my higher self, I'm very open to any of that.
Absolutely. It's important to recognize that you can connect to everything. Again, it's like tuning the radio station, the frequency, the vibrations. So
Okay.
the most important part is not like through the logical mind deciding what's best. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yes.
Allow your heart to navigate because that's the thing, your heart, and that's actually another important aspect here too, is that you've done a lot of healing on your mind, you know, through the logical, through the linear, through the checklist. But it's important because the heart also recorded those upsets with your dad and so forth.
Right.
So allowing the healing to happen in your heart's place too is really, really crucial, because that allows you to open up fully to all the wisdom of the heart, because the heart is really the brain or the soul or the portal to your soul self and to God, to the entire universe.
Yes.
So how you will do that is by consciously showing up with unconditional love. So recognizing something in your life that you actually truly, something you really, really love unconditionally. You're not fearful about it. You're just in amazement of it. It could be a pet, it could be a child, it could be whatever. It could be something simple. You know what I mean? Simpler than that.
Well, for me,
But something
it's my music, singing and
there you
playing.
go.
Yeah.
You know, that same pleasure, you want to bring that into everything you do, every relationship, you know what I mean? How you show up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're holding back, then you're coming from your mind.
Okay.
If you are connecting like you would connect with music, then you are allowing your soul to operate at the highest as possible. So to answer your question about with Gabriel or channeling or inviting those aspects into your life, you need to find that thread, you know what I mean? And that's your music. And it doesn't mean that you have to play music to connect with these, but you also just want to, the frequency you feel when you play that music, when you are creating something, you want to use that same energy to connect with everything else. And
Oh,
at
yeah.
first it's going to be consciously you have to do that. And then after a little while it become automatic, you know what I mean? And
Okay.
then you will open up more, and then more and more frequencies will be accessible to you. And when that happens, you just want to follow that and then be amazed by you reconnecting with the one that feels like it's the highest and most highest vibrating within your field.
Okay.
Like I'm connecting with Gabriel, I'm also connecting with Jesus and Sir Lancelot, but many others as well. But that's the top three I connect with personally.
Okay.
But we have to open our heart fully to reconnect with those aspects, you know, whatever that is. You know, it could be one, it could be three, it could be whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
don't allow the mind to restrict, or to, there might be a higher connection you have with Melchizedek, let's say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you can't connect with
Yeah.
Gabriel,
Yeah. Yeah.
but something might be in it at the moment in a higher vibrational match where there will be more resemblance to you that's going to benefit you more. So there's more like you consciously allow that to unfold.
Okay. Okay.
Because you can connect with all of it at any time, but you don't want to rob yourself of the bigger picture, you know?
You are answered prayer, my dear friend. This is pure grace to hear all this from your lovely self. Thank you for that. Thank you. Beautiful. Wow.
And
Well,
also you're not separate from any of it. Remember that.
right, right.
You know what I mean? You have your angel guides, you have your soul family, they're all around. So the
Yeah,
more you ask for help, the more you
yeah.
will help. The more you believe you can get help, the more it will happen.
I do ask quite a lot. I promise you. You know, I'm still working on my December rent over here. But you know, it's again, you're reassuring me, you're reconnecting energetically for me. You know, the open-hearted, unconditional love of spirit and the oneness and just the simplicity that, you know, it's just practice, basically.
I have a thing I wrote down before the session
Yeah,
too, and for some reason that came up. The reality I get will be the one I believe at any given time.
beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, that's right. That's it. That's it.
And that's for you. You know what I mean? As well.
Okay.
It's for all of us.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It's done unto you as you believe, you know.
it's shifting those belief
Yes,
systems.
yes. I did a channeling last night actually on my page, and it was a lot of it was about courage and faith, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And that was me with my guides looking to 2023. Is there anything else you or your guides would like to alert people to, or you know, invite people to be aware of in terms of the energies of the next year?
Not really, but that might sound wrong. But point being is that you ask for guidance about 12/12 is tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And the next 12 days. So the reason behind this answer is that you want to stay present. If you think too far ahead,
Very good.
then you are creating separation between that reality and this reality.
Okay.
So the answer, really, the correct answer, if any, is about living in the present moment.
Sure. Sure. Yes.
So showing up on a daily basis from moment to moment, from minute to minute.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
if we live in separation,
Mm-hmm.
then we're giving our power away.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. Good.
And that's the message, and that's the guidance going forward, that 2023 is going to be like that. It won't allow anyone to play small any longer.
Yeah. No, I believe that. I absolutely believe we're heading into a very, very powerful time of acceleration where it's kind of like, you know, people are choosing their sides, their path, you know, and it will be accelerating. Things will be manifesting more quickly, and we'll see from which part of us, the mind or the heart, as you were saying, you know, things are manifesting from. You know, and we'd be much
So can I ask you a
better
question?
served by the heart. Yes, please.
So you are changing your format, you are changing your platforms, you are expanding, you are reaching more people, or you know what I mean? Reason why I'm asking too is that how we talk to ourselves and how we,
Mhm.
share how, you know what I mean? That's what
Mhm.
we create.
Yeah,
So are
yeah.
you are changing somewhat, right?
I'm, what can I say? Um, I mean, I do, change has been coming. Let's put it that way. Changes have been coming to me, which is wonderful. Connecting with new friends, having and creating new opportunities. The music is something that this year has just come roaring back into my life. Playing like 6 hours a week at one point, and where I hadn't played for years, literally. So yeah, it's yes, things are changing, and I'm open to the change for the greatest good, in my life and the greatest happiness and joy. And I pray and strive to be fully surrendered and totally devoted to God's joyous will in my life, and living that and sharing that with everyone that I'm blessed to connect with. So the details of that, I'm still kind of sailing along on some old structures that I've built over the years that still feel appropriate, and adding to those things. But yeah, to answer your question, it's like, just what can I say? Um, New beginnings. I saw your post, Peter, on your page, and I put that on my page yesterday for our interview. And you said new beginnings. That's my angel card here, the third angel card, new beginnings. And this is what I keep hearing for completing the energies and moving into these higher states of being. So I do get that message, but how that's all going to happen is still, open in my mind.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Be open to the, expect the unexpected.
possibility. Yes,
Right. Because
yes,
vibrationally, you are drawing experiences and connection to you now. So there'll be
sure.
more and more that will push you out of the old comfort zone, or
Okay.
whatever you thought was the comfort zone, and allow you to show up in new ways, in new mediums, in new, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Reach
Good.
a broader audience, if
Sure.
you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And it's all
Um,
about your frequency. That's the bottom line here. The purity of your heart. The stronger you can show up authentically, then it's not so much about the words or the music. It's about your vibration and frequency. That's what
sure.
connects people's hearts.
Yeah. No, I do. I do know that, and I feel that. And just like when you brought Gabriel through, as you've done that, and cleared the energy and all that, and I felt that. I feel that, in the channeling and in the music, I feel really supported and held by spirit. I'm actually hearing what Dr. People said years ago, which is that, just sit and connect with your guides. Just breathe them in. And it is only really now. This is like, before I came to Ireland, so 16 years ago. I'm going, oh, that's starting to make some sense now. It seems, I can see the logic of that. There you go. So, I mean, just to stay in that vibration, and to trust and give thanks, and be very honest and very responsible with what's showing up.
Awesome. Do you have time for another question?
Um, sure, I have all the time in the world. Yeah, I mean, this is just such a delight, my friend. Truly, I'm really honored to
Well, I'm
share
keep getting
this.
questions in
Uh,
my head for you
yeah,
too. And then one was that divine feminine and divine masculine. So, who the divine masculine is the victim, it's the separated self, it's the logical, it's the linear. And we all been there, male, females. But now us co-creating together to guys, it's this wonderful way to
yes,
connect and share as well. Is that, have you noticed how you now handle yourself differently, your thought patterns, how you show up, how you allow yourself to tap into the feminine more, which is love,
yeah,
compared to, go
yeah.
ahead.
The of the hundreds of sessions that I've been blessed to do, most of them have been women, and most of them have been women around issues around healing their relationship to men and the masculine, of course. And you may have some experience with that as well. So, I'm very humbled and grateful and inspired by all the women, the women teachers that I see in my life and have in my life, in my circle. And I have a sense of, deep community that we're all building right now at this sacred moment, really, to recognize each other and to connect in a much more conscious way. So, I mean, those are the things that come to my mind when you mention that. I've been working with this teacher, Addie Lamborn, who is the videographer of Patricia Cota Robles that I mentioned earlier. And we've been doing a class since last November, a free Zoom call, and doing the meditations of Sanaya Roman channeling Orin on one subject after another, literally for the last 12 months. So it's, all of that has had a big impact on on my conscious awareness of the availability of my soul and spirit and of the goddess, and how real that all is and how available all that is. So
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. It's all
sure.
about you activating those aspects of you, then allows for the healing, which and also those big sicknesses, if you want, as a part of that.
Yeah. Yes, it's I mean, honestly, a certain medical procedure that was encouraged for people all over the world to take with no logical reason behind it, to my mind, and all that has gone into that. I do what my guides call this is the clash of the paradigms. As you said, between the wounded masculine, the shadow self of humanity, and the unconditional love of the divine feminine, just in general terms. So yeah, I'm very clear which team I'm on and what I'm pulling for and praying for and working for. Sometimes I honestly do get quite overwhelmed with, how far along the other side's agenda might appear to be, and how people that I love and care about might be hurt or affected by that. But, truly at the same moment, I do know this acceleration is unlike anything we've ever experienced anywhere in any lifetime. And we're just, the angels and the beings of light are pouring into our lives. And I'm just wanting to make as big a space in my heart as I can for that to be my life.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Sure, my friend.
More happiness in your life after that's been unfolding?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's just my story has been like this. Things work, then they don't, then they do, then they don't, then they do, and meanwhile I'm praying, meditating, offering service. This is probably the 11th video I've done this week. Not just an interview. This is the first interview this week. But I do morning programs, and I'm doing evening programs, etc., which I love. This is my passion, to come back to joy in the heart. I'm lit up like a Christmas tree every time I get to share these ideas, poems, prayers, wisdoms, posts from yourself and others, etc. This kind of energy. So this is what I'm living for. This is why I'm here, so I can share these ideas with people and uplift them and inspire them and give them some hope and enjoy the process of helping people to awaken.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. You've given me a lot to think about and chew on, and I will do that. And yes, absolutely. No, I'm thrilled. I'm so grateful to you for this connection. Thank you.
One thing I want to say here at the end, is that, to receive abundance too, there's an energy exchange, because I recognize, and you just affirmed that you're showing up so much, meaning 11 times this week, right? And part of that is the belief system within you, the self-worth, you can say, but it's not that black and white. It's more of, if we don't believe, we can get it. So some might leave, somebody who's not in alignment with that, but then it's going to make room for new ones to come in who's in a place of sharing. They also see the value, and easier for them to receive the gifts that you're giving by sharing energy as well in whatever shape, form that come. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So part of that is by being fully in alignment with that, so you can actually shift that trend. You can shift that from struggle into fully receiving by believing it and expecting it, but not from ego. Just knowing, like connect with that knowing you created all of this, and you didn't create yourself to suffer. This is the final. This is going into the golden age. So this is where everything's going to be smooth. So the only one who's not, the reason why it's not smooth is if there's any part of you that's still not believing that. So shifting that belief system, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Then you show up as you are and not holding back, but then at the same time allow yourself to receive the exchange. It's really important.
Yes, honestly, that's the area of struggle. You know, for me, Peter, I put it out there. I say, here is my heart and soul, and thank you for the opportunity. And then I'm over here like, okay, all right, you know.
Well, you can't wait for it. That's the problem. You send out
All
these
right.
rockets of desires. If you're sitting and waiting for it, then it creates that space, right? And separation.
Okay.
Creates a expectation that it should be a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yes, that landed. I heard that.
So you can keep living from the heart and not from the mind. Not saying that you did, but you know what I mean? Like more and more from the heart.
Yes.
Then you also allow yourself to receive back, and then you start trusting it and knowing that, you know, and keep telling yourself, reconnecting with that truth that you actually created this.
Right.
So there's no reason why you shouldn't have everything you need.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Trusting.
Yes. Well, that's where I practice gratitude, you know, and appreciation, love, joy, appreciation, gratitude. You know, I'm always quoting Abraham, who says, the terrible price we're asking you to pay is a happy journey on the way to everything you want, you know. And so I'm saying, you know, it is coming, it's in divine order, it's on its way, etc. But that's you helped me see that more clearly right there. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Well, this was a treat. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Perfect. You're very welcome, my friend. Thank you very, very much for your time and your wisdom.
You're welcome. It's my
I
pleasure.
hope we'll connect again in divine timing, and we'll put your links here, and God bless you on your journey. Yeah. Thank you.
You too, buddy.
Peace
Thank
and
you.
blessings. Thanks, Peter. God bless. Peace.
Peace.
Okay. Happy Christmas. Merry New Year.
Thank you. You too.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye for now.
All right.